It was a wet February in Pittsburgh. Spring, early and without warning. And twice in 1 week, UFOs had been spotted hovering over Mount Washington. Well, people said, that's not exactly the strangest thing you'll see on Mount Washington, which was just one of the ways that we said bullshit. But by the end of the following week, there were so many eyewitnesses, and cell phone pics, and videos, and even a sudden and suddenly popular blog called aliens.com, dedicated to these and other sightings around the city and the rural counties south and east, that the mayor's office called a press conference to address the speculation. The early part of that year had been rough for the mayor. A lingering and Byzantine dispute with the head of the Economic Development Council blew up when the director of the EDC publicly resigned, citing a culture of intimidation, corruption, favor trading, and recrimination in a widely published letter. Then the papers reported that the mayor himself was under investigation for appropriating a Homeland Security grant and using the expensive new surveillance equipment to spy on his not-yet ex-wife and her attorney. So the mayor didn't actually show up to the flying saucer press conference. His chief of staff, Jonah Kansky, came instead, which was just as well, since everyone said that Kansky was the Svengali behind the young mayor, or, since it had been pointed out that such phrasing might be a little bit anti-Semitic, that he was the Richelieu behind the child king. When the woman from Channel 4 asked him why the mayor wasn't at the presser, Kansky said, "Gail, the mayor is busy cooperating with investigators," which made the reporters laugh. Anyway, Kansky said something to the effect of, "We're cooperating with DOD and DHS and the National Weather Service and the Air Force Reserve Wing out at the airport and all relevant state and local and federal authorities, including the Pittsburgh FBI office, etc., etc., etc. And I can assure you that while clearly something was seen last week, there is no probative or dispositive evidence or indication that it was anything other than a meteorological phenomenon. In fact, I have been convincingly assured through these consultations that it was an example of a rare phenomenon called ball lightning, the result of warm or cold air masses or vectors or something. Then a huge, bald black guy in a dark suit and a yellow yarmulke, who'd been standing quietly in the back, lost his shit and started screaming, "You want to live in a dream world forever?" And he had to be hauled out by a pair of police officers, barely as tall as his shoulders. That effectively ended the press conference, except that a live mic caught Kansky muttering something about a fruitcake to an aide, and the next day the story was neither the UFOs nor the outburst by the man who turned out to be Rebbe Mustafa Elijah, the high priest and sole proprietor of a local sect called the Universal Synagogue of the Antinomian Demiurge, a weird millennial cult based out of the back room of Elijah's Africana store in East Liberty, but rather a subsequent press conference hastily arranged by City Councilwoman Mary Tremoni, a presumptive mayoral challenger in next year's contest, who cited Kansky's overheard comment as just one more indication of a heedless and uncaring administration displaying a shocking disregard for the feelings and emotional well-being of the city's LGBTQ communities, especially its youth, who faced bullying every day and who were the future of our city. And so by the first week in March, the whole thing became a diversity imbroglio.